Good morning. Today we're going to jump into XRP and the Sigma coin. So, continuing our quest on the XRP exploration of our fibs, wanted to kind of do some adjustments from yesterday's video, open up an idea of kind of where we think we are, and some now estimations for how our wave 2 could play out. So, all right, so we have ourselves a 5-wave move to the upside. This area right here is where there's a lot of confusion for me specifically on trying to figure out exactly where we're landing as far as our wave counts. So jumping over to then the market cap price, we can kind of take a look at what we have. So the good thing is we started with using the market cap chart. We were able to identify the higher low, which was not seen on the USD price, right? So we have that initial anomaly that led to us identifying the beginning of this move. Our wave within our wave 3 here, we have our wave 1, 2, and then this is really obvious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3. Now we got this 5th wave for wave 3. So this is where the question lies. Okay, so was this choppiness that we saw on the economic report right here on September 11th the completion of the wave 5, or was that an alternative count that we could then ignore, and then this was the completion of wave 5? So let's take a look at just some kind of thoughts on it, and then that'll lead us ultimately into deciding how to handle this price action up here, which does look like it's the top is near the end or possibly already in. So all right, so now what we have is we have this measured move of wave 1 and 2. Our 618 takes us right up to the top of this region, which is where I was counting our wave 3 at, okay, giving us a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for completion move, okay, getting us to the 1618 of the measured 1, okay. So wave 3 is 1.618 times the length of wave 1 with this measurement, okay. Alternatively, if we were to continue looking, now we're looking for the equal measurement of this wave 1 here. If we were to move this up and we were to put this here at the bottom of this wave 4 from yesterday, we don't hit a full measured move of this wave 1. We come up short. We end up hitting the 786. Okay, so looking at this price action though, this is very aggressive price action to the downside, and we have two takeaways that we're going to put away here at the end. So alternatively, if we end up counting this deviation here of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this becomes our wave 4, well, now when we move this price action tool down to this point, well, now we have an equal leg 1 right here. Okay, tricky, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs to the upside for our 5th. So that is probably right here, and this price action was the area that caused, for me specifically, the confusion as to which wave count we were in, because now you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this, although setting a lower low on the USD chart right here, so we ended up setting this lower low in price action. The market cap chart set a higher low, as you can see right here in this price action. So that was where the trick was. So this ends up becoming a wave 3 for 5 that ends up not clearing the top, or even in this scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, still doesn't clear the top right here. Now, ironically, this is the Coinbase chart. This is our market cap chart, but potentially we bounce over to the Koreans, and the Koreans with this wick do set this higher high. So they have this 5-wave move to the upside with the 5th giving us this higher high off of the levels here. Okay, so we end up seeing that in fact does check with a, there we go. Come on. We got this. There we go. Higher high coming in right here at this level. So, all right. So that's kind of where the confusion component, but regardless of all of that, there's two potential methods I see how we were going to play out this top move. There we go. That's how, so higher high. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're completing this down. So let's take a look at what we're doing on price action here now. And actually this Korean chart already has it for our wave 2. So we do have identified that we have a 5-wave move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an ABC move up, and then we're going to have, actually it's an ABC completion. So let me get these labeled here for you. So we have our 5-wave move down, and then we have a completion of an ABC, And now we have the potential for another 5-wave move coming in here, but it could be different from what we're looking at, because of this may just be the wave 1 move, and we have much larger pull down for another 5 that's coming into play. Okay, so that's scenario 1 that we can look at here. But right now we're at an equal measured move. This wave 1 and 3, we should actually see this fall down into the lower levels here if we're going to continue our continuation of our total of 5 waves down for a larger degree. So next we have let's jump back to the USD chart. And so this is the pivotal point of whether or not there's going to be a bounce, and on 2 ways to take our next structure. So looking here, this could be an ABC, because we have an equal measured move and a bounce potentially coming into play. So if we hold here and bounce, my expectations are that we have a flat coming into play here, where we do an ABC down, then we do an ABC back up and sweep the longs potentially all the way up, getting us that completion of that move to the upside. And then we can have a big old smackdown, because your wave 2s can be flats. Okay, so your wave 2s can end up being usually a zigzag in a family pattern, but can be a flat. So that's one option for a wave 2 correction with a lot of demand for XRP. Alternatively, if we start losing this measured move here of this level breaking us down, then we're actually in our 5-wave move to the downside, and we have a first wave of wave 1 happening. So this is 1, 2, and then we would actually go longer down into here and then complete this wave 1 move down into this region. So all right, so lots of technicalities here, lots of different details. We're going to really basically, to narrow it down, we're watching how we react at 303. If we bounce here from 303, I would think the flat is in play. And if we end up doing or possibly the completion of wave 2, but that's kind of what we're mainly looking at. So now let's zoom out a smidge more and let's talk about targets, okay? So we've been looking for targets for a long time, and now we are getting them, okay? So in this wave 2 correction, the easiest way to kind of approach it is to look at our retracement tool here. And we're going to be going and expecting that we should see at least a 618 pullback. So if we end up getting our zigzag play, you could see possibly something along these lines where we break down into the Fed meeting, and we come down and eventually hit the level of a 284 target that we've been measuring and looking for quite a while. So that's basically the expectation. A 618 retrace of the full move. That would give us most of the gap close. We do have a gap down here at the 702, so we'll be watching that as well. But basically at this point, it looks like we're just about wrapping up this move to the upside, and we are now beginning our descent down the mountain with a bounce somewhere in here. But the question will be, do we do it with a flat where we end up continuing up to the top of the range and then break down? Or do we do it with a zigzag, which is more likely for a wave 2 correction? But this is the area of price action that matters, and we'll be watching that to see how we continue onward here, and if we end up breaking through the equal measured move of the 1 level, which it looks like we're actually getting really close to doing right now. So so moment of truth if we end up turning upwards and moving higher. Now jumping over to Sigma. Taking this information of the 618 backtest, we are close to Sigma hitting its level, where it may in fact actually already be just about finished with this correction. Generally these wave 2s, I've noticed though, on XRP memes tend to take back a majority of the move. So a 618 would be realistic right at this point, which would be down to this price action of a quadruple 017, and possibly then even down to this 886, taking back all this region as everybody's just kind of watching price action fall. Now this would ultimately be the completion of the moves to the downside, and then we can finally start working our way out here of the next leg. So this is the expectation, is that we'll find support right here at this quadruple 017. And if we look at our RSIs, they can help support some of this. So we've got our 4-hour. The main one that's used to trade that I've been recommending is that our Stotch is completely down into the overdone area. So let's get this unmuted. There we go. So our Stotch is sitting at a 312, 312, so even parity right here. So it's a good bounce area. And then you've got your 3-day also still turning up to the upside, even though it's price action down. You can see that the momentum is continuing upward on the 3-day, which is the breakout structure that we're looking at. So I'm expecting there to be a bounce here pretty soon for the Sigma coin. We should be able to see that come in, and probably just a little bit more downside for this initial first grab, but be mindful that there's still these levels that could be played for a wave 2, because it could retrace a majority of wave 1 if necessary. So it tends to come in at a 618. So alright, thanks so much for watching on everything, and hopefully that was helpful, not too technically nerdy, and we'll check in tomorrow.